quality is not very good, but wanted to come up here and just kind of document a little bit of what's going on today with the smoke. Hope you guys are all having a great afternoon today. Just got off work a little bit ago. Taking a look here at the air quality tracker as UPS 5442 Heavy is inbound from Louisville. Kind of hard to pick the aircraft up until the last minute, so the air quality right now is 378, so it's actually improved a little bit from earlier. But I figure we'll come up and try to catch some aircraft for you. We'll get the 2 heavies and a couple of departures. Probably only stick around for an hour or so. Hope you guys are all having a great day today. Here's the UPS. Nope, that's Delta. Delta 1449 inbound from Minneapolis. Coming in through the smoke.
2887, please, runway 6 exit, take off.
So I had a fly land on me there. Southwest 737 taxiing out. When I was pulling in, the Boston Red Sox Gulfstream was lining up for departure. I was trying to catch it. I wasn't able to get up here in time to see it. I didn't know it was even here, and I was pulling in, and I looked over and saw a Gulfstream sitting there. Like, oh, that's pretty cool, and I saw the tail. I'm like, whoa. So I'm not really sure why the Red Sox Gulfstream was here today, but maybe we'll catch that someday. Southwest with the turn and burn are heading out. I don't know how long we'll be able to keep them, though. They're going to go into the haze here really quick. The air quality earlier today was about 775 up in Sandusky. Saw Cedar Point is closing early today. So it has improved a little bit up here at the airport. We were over 700 for a while. But right now it's only a hazardous 375. So we'll keep an eye on the air quality throughout the day. Obviously, if we start to be impacted by it, we'll definitely get out of here a little early, but we'll do our best. Just wanted to kind of document a little bit of history today. Here's UPS 5442 Heavy, the 767 out of Louisville. Was going to go to Thunder over Michigan tomorrow. Decided we're going to wait. We'll see what it does on Saturday or Sunday. Saturday looks like a pretty good chance of storm, so we may just try to go for Sunday. So I think that from what I hear, the smoke is even worse up there. And it's supposed to be pretty bad again tomorrow, so I'm not even sure they'll even be able to fly tomorrow. So we'll see. UPS is rolling out. The flight behind them got too close. Told by air traffic control to go around. I can't see them, so I was trying to see if I could see them to get them on. Oh, there they are. There's our go-around flight. Sorry about that. I had a thing pop up on my camera that said invalid. So just reboot everything. I think we'll be good to go now, hopefully. So I apologize for the little technical glitch there. Taking a look at our next inbound flight. We have a citation out of Brainerd, a flight exclusive citation on final, followed by United 717 out of San Francisco, American Eagle 5470 out of DCA, Delta Connection 5194, the last CRJ built out of LaGuardia. Then American, our go around, flight 1679 out of Charlotte. American United 2476 out of Denver, Delta Connection 3559 out of Detroit. So quite a bit of inbound flights. And we got an aircraft that's taxiing out for departure, United 1673 heading to Chicago's O'Hare International Airport. There's the citation. United 737 heading to Chicago. Looks like a foggy morning up here today with all the smoke. It's kind of got that color, a little bit of an orangish color. A lot of haze up here today. Visibility, to go back to see what the visibility is. I cannot see the airport from here, and I can barely see the Glenn Research Center. "82 degrees today, not much wind, only 6 knots. United 737 inbound. We'll go ahead and stick with the outbound flight for now. IFR conditions here today. Even if the ceiling and all that doesn't show it, just the lack of visibility today, creating those type of conditions. See how long we're even able to hang on to the United. I'm sure we're going to lose it from a visibility standpoint probably before it even gets off the ground. So tough conditions up here today. We'll do the best we can. Again, won't be up here too long. I know the wife is picking up dinner on her way home from work, so looking forward to going home and getting some of that. Look at how bad the mosquitoes are on this side. American Eagle 5470 CRJ inbound from DCA. A couple of CRJs inbound. 5194 from LaGuardia behind that, then a 737. A couple of 737s, another CRJ. Whatever is snacking on my leg needs to stop. Got a chance of some showers today as well. So have to keep an eye on that. Live stream today will probably only be about an hour just because of the air quality. I can feel it in the back of my throat today. It's actually improved a little bit, believe it or not, from earlier though. From earlier, we were in our office building and you could actually like look it out the window. It looked like someone just having a bonfire out back. It just, the air is full of smoke. You could actually see the particles in the air. It wasn't just like a haze. So it actually has improved a little bit from what it was earlier. You can still smell it, you can still taste it, but not as bad as what it was earlier. I don't know how well the camera's actually picking it up, but definitely a pretty obvious orange hue to the air, definitely to the sun. Whatever's biting me needs to stop. And Joy GTA 3 is here from Ravenna, says the air quality is something else. Indeed, it is gross. Supposed to be like this tomorrow. I think it's supposed to get even worse later tonight, and then tomorrow, hopefully it'll clear up for the weekend. But more importantly, hopefully the firefighter is able to get those fires out that are raging all kinds of havoc up in Canada. Hopefully they're able to do it and do it safely. Delta connection rolling out from LaGuardia. Got a few more inbound flights that are on final.
5194 Richter in there, takes me Golf Alpha, cross runway 6 right, ground point 7 the other side, good day.
HT 1976, man, you are really dedicated to your hobby. I couldn't stand 5 minutes outside today. Yeah, we'll see how long we're able to stick around. Again, it's probably only going to be about an hour. I just wanted to come up and get a couple of aircraft that are coming in and get a little bit of video out in this type of weather. Because as awful as it is kind of historic. Falcon's asking about the camera. So I use an A7 III for most of my photography. I have the 400G master lens that I typically use. I have the 2870 as well that I use for like the statics and whatnot. I do a lot of video with that camera, but for the live streams I have a Panasonic ATX 1500 camcorder that I use for the live streams. That Sony does not like HDMI. Pretty old camera now. I think it came out in 2017 or 2018. Great camera, still a great camera, still a beast of a camera for those that are getting into photography. But it doesn't have all the modern features of something like the A7 IV or some of the newer Canons and Nikons. It is still a beast of a camera, especially for low light. It's not really a video camera. I've learned how to use it as a video camera. But excuse me, but I enjoy using it. Citation lining up for departure. Sorry if I coughed today. It's definitely very dry air with all the smoke. Following the citation as the American 737 that did the go around a few minutes ago is on final for 6 left. They were a little bit too close to the 767 and had to go around. They're rolling out over there on 6 left. Runway 6 operations today. 6 left for your arrival, 6 right for your departure. So I was kind of hoping it would have stayed on the 2-4s. But if they had done that, we wouldn't be dealing with the smoke.
The 85,
Citation is clear to go. Operating as a medevac flight, so either have a patient or have some organs or something on board. And to do their job to help people out. Citation heading out, CRJ, Delta Connection flight inbound from Detroit. One of these two CRJs, I don't know if it's this one or the one that landed from LaGuardia, but one of these is the last CRJ ever built. According to our friends over at Jet Tip. Going out into the smoke. Somewhere over there in the smoke is UPS and the NASA Glenn Research Center. As American Eagle 5862 is inbound from Philadelphia. Obviously, we are in an air quality alert up here today. Take a look at our visibility. Right now, humidity is only 34%. It's 82 degrees. Wind north at 7. Our altimeter is 30.03. Our visibility is only 1.75 miles. All due to the smoke here today. Tomorrow, 89 degrees, smoky again. Showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. A lot cooler on Sunday in the 80s and sunny. So hopefully things will improve a little bit for us throughout the weekend, but we'll see what the weather does.
Let's say you want to start building credit.
Susie's asking, am I going to be at Props and Pistons at Akron? And yeah, I definitely am planning on being at the Props and Pistons show this year. Usually try to go every year. I know a few people on the board for that, so we usually try to get to that every year. Big show this year with the F-16 Viper demo. So if you want to see the Viper demo, make some high-speed passes over Akron. Go to the Props and Pistons Festival later on this year. If you want to see the Goodyear blimp, usually they're there as well. The C-17 is supposed to be there, I think out of Wright-Patterson. Maybe out of Pittsburgh, but I think it's out of Wright-Patterson.
Described as insufficient.
And we'll see what else we get this year. Ha. Brandon rubbing it in says, I was on the Prater that came in about 20 minutes ago. Rubbing it in over there, rubbing it in with his high dollar jet set life. Got a sweat bee that is trying to trying to eat me alive. A lot of bugs over here. That's kind of the downside of this spot in the afternoon and evening. Other than the light, because we're really backlit. Right now, it's not that bad because the sun is pretty much blocked out by the smoke, but definitely backlit in the evening, but you also got to deal with a lot of bugs. And I'm apparently tasty to the mosquitoes up here. They must find me delicious. No one else does, but they must find me delicious. Susie says, this is my mom's account. I will try to see if I can see you up there. Well, I hope to meet you at Props and Pistons here in a few weeks. Brandon says, no visibility up there. I wonder if anyone was at Ypsilanti today, if they actually even did any practice for Thunder. Because I've heard that the smoke's actually worse up there. So I wonder if they even did any practice today. And I wonder if they'll even have the show tomorrow, to tell you the truth. Since it looks like tomorrow may be worse. Then hopefully, looks like we got some storms moving through on Saturday, so hopefully it'll kind of blow the smoke out of here. But again, hopefully they get the rain and everything they need to put out the fires that's causing all the smoke. Next inbound flights, FedEx 361 Heavy out of Memphis is 25 minutes out. American flight 4057 out of Miami is 33 minutes out. United 2725 out of Fort Lauderdale is 45 minutes out. Frontier 2698 out of Phoenix is about a half hour out. United or Southwest flight 4506 out of Chicago is just about ready to take off. They're about 40 minutes out. American Eagle 3466 out of Chicago, kind of the same boat for them. Of course, it could be 45 minutes of taxi at O'Hare. You never know. But we'll see when they get here. FlexJet Gulfstream out of St. Paul is 45 minutes out. Air Canada Jazz 647 out of Montreal is 48 minutes out. American Eagle 5129 out of Philadelphia just took off. They're 48 minutes out. A little later on is a Beach Bonanza. They're showing an hour out, probably longer than that, out of Belmar. United 1611 out of Newark is getting ready to take off as well. Don't know how many we're going to get. I'm only really planning on being up here for about an hour or so, just because of the smoke. As you can tell, it's hard to see up here. A little later on tonight, 9:30, the Pratt & Whitney's America Greener Airline livery for Frontier, Edward the Bald Eagle, is due in around 9:30. And the One World livery for American is due in around 11 o'clock tonight. I will not be up here for those, but if you're interested, they are coming in. Looks like Pittsburgh is getting Independence 1, the new Southwest special livery, a little bit later on tonight. But I'm curious to see if they even flew up in Michigan today. Looking down the runway, a couple of departing flights are taxiing out. We should see them here in a couple of minutes. United Airlines 1645, a MAX 8 that's heading to Houston. Alaska Airlines 216, a MAX 9 that'll be heading to Seattle. And it looks like American Flight 650, another 737 MAX heading to Los Angeles. All those aircraft are taxiing out right now. So we should see them here in a few minutes. Like Delta 880 to Atlanta should be taxiing out here fairly soon. So a few aircraft we should see departing here in the next few minutes. I saw a post earlier today that the Lufthansa 100th anniversary 747-8, I think, is going to Houston today, which would actually put it flying right over us later if it does. But we're not going to see it through the smoke. So waiting on our 3 737 Maxes that are taxiing out. We'll see them here in a minute. Carrie says, I hope you're wearing a mask. I have a, not really a mask, but like a cloth over my face. I wish I would have saved the N95s from the COVID days. I definitely use one today. But again, we're going to keep it short and sweet today. Try to catch what we can. And avoid anything crazy. Susie's asking, has JetBlue taken the Spirit flights at Cleveland yet? And they have taken the Fort Lauderdale flight. So Fort Lauderdale was the last Spirit flight that we had before they suspended operations here, I think, which was like around April 11th, April 15th, something around there. By then, we just had the one flight a day to Fort Lauderdale, and JetBlue has taken that over. That flight leaves early in the morning and returns pretty late at night. They've sent some special liveries on the 320s as well, so hopefully we'll catch one here at some point. Matt says it's a Pall Mall kind of day. Thank you, Canada. Yeah, come get your smoke. Nah, God bless the firefighters that are dealing with these fires. Hopefully they're able to stay safe and get these fires put out soon. They're gonna need some rain, so hopefully they get some of the weather very soon up that way. Here's United, they're leading the charge. 16:45 heading to Houston. 737 MAX 8. Three different Maxes, United, Alaska, and American, all ready to depart. Kind of forget it's a sunny day today with the smoke. Until the airplanes turn and you get that little hint of the sun. It's kind of really the only reminder. It would be a beautiful blue sky, clear day today if it wasn't for all the smoke. There is a little bit of a breeze though. We don't have air at our house. We have it in our bedroom, but we don't have like central air in our house. And it's actually with the breeze up here, it's probably nicer up here than it is in our house. I walked in and it smelled like a bonfire in our house. I was like, oh my goodness. With the windows open. So while not fun, it might actually be a little bit better up here. Alaska holds a short flight 216 heading to Seattle. American 650 behind them heading to Los Angeles. This little bee must think I'm its friend or something. Alaska 216 on their way to Seattle. Again, only about 1.5 miles of visibility up here now. So we lose them pretty quick into the haze. Most of them have not even been off the ground yet by the time we lose them. And the camera has no idea what to focus on either. American 650 holding short. On their way to Los Angeles. And into the haze goes the gray 737. After we come back this way, you'll see our orange sun. They say red sky at night, sailor's delight. I'm not sure what an orange sky is. Definitely not a great day to be outside. Up in Toledo this weekend, the Commemorative Air Force's Air Power Tour is up there. So you got the B-29 Fifi, B-17 Sentimental Journey, B-25 Made in the Shade, a few fighters up there as well. I saw they posted an amazing photo this morning of Fifi with the orange smoke around it. It's a really insane photograph up there. But they're up there the rest of the week, throughout the weekend. So if you're up in that area, go check them out. I think they're flying on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I remember right. So if you're in that area, go check them out. Great opportunity to see some amazing history up there in Toledo. Thunder over Michigan is at Willow Run this weekend. There's also a fly-in down in Marysville. So lots of aviation stuff going on this weekend. Matt, thank you so much for the super chat. Really do appreciate it. Smokey Bear on alert. You know, I got to admit, it's an important job, but it is stressful being the only one that can stop forest fires or prevent forest fires. It is. I think about it every night. It's just so stressful to wake up every morning going, man, only I can prevent forest fires. All kidding, of course. But those guys have a tough job. And watching the planes, those pilots are the perfect combination, I guess, of brave and nuts for flying those airplanes, especially the heavies, but just flying those airplanes through the ravines trying to fight these fires. I think the CL-415, the Super Scoopers, are some of the most incredible airplanes ever built that I don't think get the attention that they really deserve. We had a couple go through Columbus last year. They were coming back from fighting the fires in California last year. And earlier this year, I forget which, I think it was last year. But time goes quick. But those airplanes are amazing, and just how they swoop down and they just fill themselves up with water and they can take off. Absolutely amazing. And the people that fly them, my hat's off to them for what they do. My mom was a firefighter. She actually got hurt doing it. She was a firefighter EMT and got hurt helping, you know, doing EMT duties. But she did that for many years before she went back to school to do medical coding. But I remember when I was a kid going to the fire department and hanging around the fire trucks. And we had a Dalmatian when I was a kid, so that was kind of cool. And something I've always wanted to do. I've always kind of wanted to be maybe be a volunteer firefighter or something like that. Just I think what those people do are true heroes, truly brave. And I hope that they're able to get these fires out soon, save as many lives as they can, save as much property as they can. Hopefully they get the rain and everything that they're going to need. It's brutal here, but nowhere near as bad as it's going to be near those fires. I was at the Grand Canyon a few years ago. My wife and I went and spent the day, and they were doing some prescribed burns in the area, and just even that was creepy. Just driving through the driving down the road, you'd see like pockets of fire in the trees, and even that was creepy. And that was about 7 or 8 years ago now. We went to do that, and of course they had the devastating fire in the North Rim earlier this year. But fires are no joke. There's a viral video going around right now of a train in the fires, and these fires are no joke. Delta 880 737 800 heading to Atlanta is taxiing out. That'll be our next departing flight. United 554 taxiing out soon for Newark. Lots of 737 so far today. FedEx is about 6 minutes out, or 767 300 out of Memphis. Take a look at our 7 o'clock update. Looks like it's still our 6 o'clock update. For our air quality up here, you're kind of watching our air quality throughout the day. Has slightly improved. We're at about 275. It's improved a lot from earlier today when we were in the 700s, but again, not a great day to be outside. So hopefully everyone is limiting their exposure outside and not doing anything too crazy. I was gonna mow this afternoon after work and decided not to do that. Here's Delta. Delta Flight 880 heading to Atlanta. I've heard that the smoke is supposed to get worse later on this evening, so. And it's far worse out in Sandusky and Toledo and up in Detroit, so. We'll see what happens as the day goes along here. And of course, that AQI update from the EPA is updating every hour, so I feel like it's kind of come back in a little bit over the last few minutes. So it's probably higher now than what it was when that update went out. There's just no contrast for the autofocus to grab as the aircraft get farther and farther down. Definitely has gotten smokier over the last few minutes. I don't know how well you guys can see it on the stream, but definitely gotten smokier over the last couple of minutes up here. Flight exclusive Cessna Citation back live at Atlantic. Maybe seeing that aircraft heading out here soon. American Eagle 4713 to LaGuardia and American 1679 to Charlotte. Both of those aircraft are live now. FedEx 361 heavy on final. 767 out of Memphis, about 2 minutes out. We have American Eagle 4057 out of Miami as well, about 13 minutes out for them. And Frontier 2698 out of Phoenix is about 12 minutes out. No Aer Lingus tonight. Dogbite says, hot and smoky, no good for RC helicopter flying down here in Columbus. No, probably not. You'd probably lose it in the haze after a couple of minutes. PTFS Aviation asking any specials coming in today. No special liveries today until this evening. There's the Frontiers coming in later on this evening, and American One World's coming in later on this evening. I'm not going to stay up here that long to catch those. They're coming in around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock tonight. So nothing special unless there's a diversion or something crazy comes in. But again, we're only probably going to be up here for an hour or so. Just not good to be outside in it too long. I just wanted to kind of come up and come out and check out do some spotting in the smoke today. My original plan was the mow, but that wasn't going to happen. So I think we'll come up here for a little bit today. Tomorrow, hoping to do a live stream. Usually try to do the Friday night live streams. We'll see what the smoke's doing. We'll also see what's coming in tomorrow. If it's worth coming up, we'll do another stream. If not, I'll post the Lorraine Air Show video tomorrow. I was going to post it today. Got some really good footage of the C-54 departing, so you guys will hopefully enjoy that. I got to get some memory cards cleared out anyways if we're going to go to Thunder this weekend. Well, again, we got to watch the weather and see what the weather does. I can feel it in my eyes. I can feel my eyes burning a little bit. So we won't stick around too long up here for sure. That is the sun. Got a red sun tonight as it tries to burn its way through the smoke. I can see the FedEx coming in over the trees. Flight 361 heavy out of Memphis, 767-300. FedEx rolling out on runway 6 left. They'll turn right, head to South Cargo for their pad. And then probably leave around 10:30, 11 o'clock tonight. Rolling out into the smoke.
361 heavy, make the right turn, next taxiway, taxi Golf Alpha, cross runway 6 right, ground point 7 the other side. Have a great day.
Best airplane we had today was when I was pulling in, the Boston Red Sox Gulfstream that was holding short for departure. I was trying to get up here. I didn't even know it was here. When I saw it sitting there on the road, I tried to get up here as quick as I could, but it was rolling when I got up here. But that would have been a neat airplane to catch. It's a Gulfstream with the Red Sox logo on the tail. Frontier 2698 about to cross the shore, 7 minutes out. A321 out of Phoenix, our next inbound flight. We'll say fortunately it's not like super crazy hot, so that's definitely something that's benefiting us a little bit today. Take a look at our air quality just to see if it's updated or not. It's still showing a 6 o'clock update, so that's not helping us at all. Definitely feel like it's gotten worse over the last few minutes though. But taking a look at the what we got now though, we're down to 1.5 miles of visibility here with the smoke. So right now I have the camera pointed at the Glenn Research Center, which I usually have it pointed at during live streams when I'm sitting over here, because there really isn't a lot to point at when there's not aircraft coming in or going out. And unless I zoom in on, we can barely see it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of the limited visibility. The autofocus on the camera is doing everything it can to try to grab stuff. Susie's asking, is the Velo Airlines permanently at Cleveland, or is it just here for a few weeks or months? That's a good question. It looks like, from what I heard, that they've extended their schedule through, I think, January, and it was still on there. We'll have to wait and see. That airline, though, has a reputation of pulling out pretty quickly. I know they were at Dayton for a little bit, and they pulled out. I don't, unfortunately, expect them to stick around too long. New Haven's an interesting flight. A lot of I know they're going to Concord, North Carolina, but there's a lot of competition going to Charlotte. So, not sure. I'm not sure what their numbers look like. I guess we'll have to see if when those numbers come out, how they're doing as far as their loads. But I guess we'll have to wait and see if they'll be here for just a short period of time or if they'll stick around. Hopefully they stick around. It's good to have another airport, good to have those extra routes. But we'll see what happens long term. Tino said, I was out about 10 minutes earlier today. My eyes are still burning. Yeah, my eyes are definitely watering. Especially over the last like 10 minutes. It's really picked up the fog over the last about 10 minutes or so. So stay safe. Airbus Ace is asking, what is the current visibility? Stay safe. According to the National Weather Service, doesn't give me a time, within the last few minutes, 1.5 miles. But I think it's decreased just over the last like 5 minutes or so. Susie says, guess Canada can have hot days at times. Canada has some wicked wildfires. They got a lot of woods up there. So, you know, hoping for good things for their firefighters. I know a couple of years ago, it seemed like it was all summer we were dealing with smoke. Not quite this thick, but at least here. I know New York got hit really hard with the smoke, but it lasted pretty much all summer. So hopefully we're not dealing with that again here. But it depends on how long it takes to put those fires out. Hopefully they're able to put them out quickly and protect as much trees, as much property, and certainly lives as they can. For us though, as long as those fires stay lit, we probably have to figure that anytime the wind shifts or we have this type of pressure system with the winds coming out of the north or coming out of the east, we're probably gonna get it. So hope the firefighters are able to get them put out quickly. The flight exclusive Citation heading to Coatesville, taxiing out for departure. American Eagle 4713 is also taxiing out for departure, E175 over to LaGuardia. American Eagle 4057 on short final for 6 left out of Miami, and then Frontier 2698 out of Phoenix. A321, both of those aircraft on final. About a minute or so out for both of them, so we'll keep an eye on them. I can barely see the 6 left approach from here now, so we'll just do the best we can as they come out. Over there's the NASA Glenn Research Center. That hangar, by the way, news came out a couple of days ago. That hangar is up for lease. I guess it came out longer ago than that, but I saw the Aerozone posted something. That hangar is up for lease. NASA's trying to find someone to take it over, so we'll see what happens long-term with that hangar. NASA's aircraft, unfortunately, are no longer over there, so we haven't had the... We didn't have anything too exciting. We had a PC-12 and a couple of T-34s, but unfortunately, they are not here anymore. Had an SC Viking or S3 Viking for a long time. That was retired back in, I think, 21 or 22. That was probably the coolest airplane we had at the time. Here's our Citation. Citation heading to Coatesville. Today would be a good day to have a Spirit Airlines flight because we will pick it up in the fog. These white airplanes and the gray airplanes like American, not so easy to pick up. Here's Frontier out of Phoenix. And Fly Exclusive heading out. Next outbound flight, the American Eagle E175 should be coming out of the smoke here in a minute, heading to LaGuardia. A lot of people driving by wondering what the heck I'm doing. Flight 4713 to LaGuardia. United 554, looks like they're pushing back as well for Newark. 737-700, should see them here pretty soon. Delta 1350 is live for Atlanta, another 737. United Airlines 2725, about 10 minutes out. 737 out of Fort Lauderdale. We have Air Canada Jazz 647 out of Montreal, is about 15 minutes out. And a FlexJet Gulfstream out of St. Paul. Night Air Southwest 4506, about 20 minutes out from Chicago Midway. It's a little bit of an idea of some of the inbound flights that we should see over the next few minutes. Here's the American Eagle. Heading to LaGuardia. I saw on airliners.net there's some talk of United remodeling the United Club. It's over at the end of Concourse Charlie, Concourse C. So some good news for United flyers. The United Club here is really, it's old, but it is pretty nice. But good to see more investment from the airline here at Hopkins, as we are one of the few United airports that's not a United hub that still has a United Club. I saw a funny post on Instagram earlier today from one of the satire websites that said Cleveland is trying to, oops, sorry about that. Cleveland is trying to remember their glory days, their industrial revolution days, by importing all this smoke. Kind of made me laugh a little bit. American has to be the winner for worst livery to spot in the smoke, because it does not take long for that to disappear. It's definitely picked up though over the last few minutes. It is definitely getting smokier. You can taste it more, you can smell it more, you can see it again. It's probably not coming up in the camera, but and you can literally see. It's like when you have that kind of misty fog and you have like the droplets of moisture in the fog, and you can kind of see that in the wind. It's kind of like that with the smoke. Like you can actually see like the particulates, the particles like moving in the wind. It's crazy when it really gets thick. I heard that there's some places that they actually have ash landing on their car. I don't know if anyone around here does, but some places up north of us that actually has ash landing on their cars and places like that. So pretty gross day here today. Kevin says, I got the worst sunburn of my life on a beach in Canada. Sometimes those are the places that they get you, because you don't think you really need the sunscreen until you realize you do. The worst one I ever got was down in St. Augustine, Florida. We went for a couple of days. I went to St. Augustine Beach. We were only there for a couple of hours, and I had no idea how burnt I was, so I got into the shower, and I had a red shirt on. I remember I had a red shirt on and I took it off. It's like, oh my God, you didn't even know I took it off. So sunburn can definitely get you. Susie says Boston has worse air quality issues than here in New York, I'm pretty sure. I think the Midwest, though, had the worst air quality this afternoon. It's not as bad here as it is up in Michigan. Even Western Ohio, like Toledo and Sandusky, were a lot worse than what our air quality is. Even earlier today when we were in the 5 and 600s, they were in the upper 700s, low 800s up there. So I think Cedar Point even closed at 7. So not great, but definitely places that are worse. So Tino's asking, what camera do I stream with? This is the Panasonic HCX 1500. Good camera for streaming, good little camcorder. I like that it has manual settings on it. So good little camcorder. Usually use it for air shows as well. It doesn't have the optical stability that the Sonys do. I had an AX43 for a while until it broke. That was the second camcorder I bought. I bought a really cheap one. When I first started, I was shooting on my iPhone, and then I bought a really cheap camcorder after that, which had really bad image quality. It just wasn't good image quality. And eventually I got the AX43. and I used that for a couple of years until it broke. It had way better optical stabilization than this one does, or my A7 III or anything like that. But this one I've kind of figured it out, and there's some great programs out there to help you kind of smooth things up a little bit. But good camera for streaming. Doesn't do well in low light though. That's the problem with this. The Sony was a much better camcorder in low light. I think the Sony might have more zoom too, but this is a good little camera. It does the job. Especially on a tripod, it does pretty well. Susie says JetBlue's livery could be easy to see as well. Not the white ones, so only the blue ones. Yeah, those would be pretty cool to see. The Duncan livery, I think, was in Detroit. I saw that taxiing by when I was in Orlando, so I'm hoping to see that one at some point. The FD&Y livery, speaking of fire, that's another JetBlue livery that's pretty cool. I saw it in New York last year when I was at JFK. In fog, that was worse than this, so I like to see that on a nicer day as well. But yeah, definitely some of those JetBlue liveries would pop in, on a day like today. United turning final, flight 2725, a 737-900 out of Fort Lauderdale, less than a minute out. Got a FlexJet Gulfstream out of St. Paul, Southwest out of Chicago Midway. Air Canada Jazz out of Montreal, and American Eagle out of Philadelphia. All those aircraft are on final, or approaching final. It should be landing here in the next few minutes. Again, hope you guys, if you're dealing with the smoke, hope you're staying inside, protecting yourself as much as you can. Audrey says, I'm in Northwest Pennsylvania and we're at level purple. Oof. Well, stay safe. We were in purple earlier today. Might be back in it now. It is no fun, so stay safe. Where are we at? Has this thing uploaded yet? Following the AirNav website, the EPA's website. Toledo, oh my goodness, hope you guys are doing okay. 805 up in Toledo. That's pretty bad. 805 up in Toledo. Only 77 down in Dayton. But 805 up in Toledo, that's pretty high. Here in Cleveland, looks like we've spiked again. Actually, the worst of it has moved, looking at the map, has actually moved inland a little bit. So the purple area. So here in Cleveland we're only at 275. I wonder where we are here. Yeah, here at Brook Park we're back to 290. But it's definitely like just inland. If you go, I mean, up in Detroit's really high. Detroit is, let's see what Detroit's showing. So like the wind must have blown it onshore a little bit. That would be Detroit, Michigan. Apparently the EPA does not recognize Detroit. Why are you not recognizing? What the heck?
Wind 350 at 3, runway 6 left, clear to land number 2, traffic is following to my final bus.
I don't know why it won't let me pull up Detroit. But Toledo was shown 805. That's crazy. Dropped a little bit, 776 in Toledo at 7 o'clock. Cleveland updated at 7 o'clock. 711. Back in the purple again. 711. Want the most recent update, and I believe it. So our air quality is definitely getting worse up here. Here's the United 737. There's the United. Oh, well, that was really bad. I'm sorry about that. And rolling through the smoke.
725, turn right Golf 5, taxi via Golf Alpha, cross from 6 right, and contact out point south today.
Till our sun is struggling to get through the smoke. I have a feeling that here in a little bit, as it gets closer to sunset, it's going to get very orange. Gulfstream for FlexJet inbound from St. Paul. They're in short final, followed by a Southwest 4506 out of Chicago. Hopefully they bring it in on 6 right, but they're bringing it on 6 left. Inbound from St. Paul, Minnesota.
479, taxi via Golf Alpha, cross from 6 right, and contact out point 7 today.
Even over here on the other side is Heartland Payroll, the probably the more famous spotting location up here. And it's just on the other side of the runway. You can tell how hazy it is now. Got an aircraft taxiing out for departure, United Flight 554 to Newark. And we also have United 1084 pushing back, A320 that'll be heading to Chicago. It's a couple of departing aircraft for you here today. Waiting on Southwest to come out of the fog from Chicago. Susie says a Super Mario livery on JetBlue. Yeah, that would probably stick out. I'm still salty about that Spirit livery. I was in Fort Lauderdale a couple of years ago when WestJet still had their Frozen livery. And I got the Frozen livery, and I saw on Jet Tip that a Spirit Airlines aircraft with Super Mario is coming in. I'm like, what is that? No pictures of it or anything like that. Completely forgot about it, and I saw a taxi by, and I'm like, oh man. I would have been probably one of the first people to see it. Had no idea it was there, and didn't get any pictures or video or anything of it down there. And it never came in up here. At first I'm like, oh, that's okay, that sucks, but I'll see it in Cleveland or Columbus. Never came in. Same with the sweater livery. We never got it up here. They got it in Columbus at night on the late flight one time, and I just didn't make the trip down there to catch it. And I thought, oh, I'll have time, and then I no longer had time. Presto says, it wasn't a good idea to take the doors off my Jeep today. Does your Jeep have air? I had a Wrangler and it didn't have air. So I definitely would have had my doors off today. But if you have air, then hopefully, yeah, probably should put them back on. Hopefully it's only a day or so. So Susie's asking, where do you normally set up for props and pistons? I just go inside. you know, go somewhere along the flight line. It's not a super crowded show, so I usually just go in, set up somewhere along the flight line, watch planes, and then if I go Sunday, if I go to last day, which I've tried to go to last day the last couple of years, I'll go somewhere along, I forget if it's Triplet, I think it's Triplet. It's either Triplet or George Washington. I think it's Triplet. Somewhere kind of along, there's like a grassy median, and go hang out there and watch the planes depart. Last year they were departing coming towards us, and they got some really, really good stuff for the C-17 when that departed. The year before they were going away from us when they had the Warbirds there, but that's usually what I'll go after the show. But just somewhere along the flight line. Air Canada Jazz inbound from Montreal, flight 647, E175. Inbound from Montreal, so be a good time to be over at the garage. See two Air Canada Jazz aircraft. I'm assuming they're at neighboring gates. I could be wrong. Actually, don't know.
7, turn right, Golf 4, taxi, Golf Alpha, class 186 right, and half an 0.7 minutes.
American Eagle 5129, CRJ 900 out of Philadelphia as our next inbound flight launch final. Less than a minute out. We'll have American Eagle 3466, 21 minutes out from Chicago. United 1611's a half hour out from Newark. The Bonanza is showing 38 minutes. I think that's optimistic out of Belmar. United Express 3488 just took off out of Washington Dulles, 45 minutes out. Southwest 747 out of Las Vegas is a half hour out. And then a little longer for some of the aircraft after that. One of the special liveries tonight, Frontier 1492, departing late from Tampa, hour and a half out. It's it's one of the America's greener airline liveries. Edward the Bald Eagle coming in late tonight. Just got a message to share with everyone. Give me a second here. We'll get American Eagle. Normally right now we would be staring into the sun and wouldn't be able to see. I was actually going to go to the, if they were on the 2.4s, I actually probably would have gone to the garage tonight, but on the 6s we wouldn't see anything over there. Even tonight I'm kind of guessing where the airplanes are. I think the camera's actually probably picking them up a little better than I can with my eyes. It's definitely getting hazy over there. So as American Eagle rolls out, little event everyone might want to go to. The International Women's Aviation Hall of Fame, International Women's Air and Space Museum. They're over at Burke Lakefront Airport. Go into the terminal at Burke Lakefront Airport. Go to the left and you'll see the International Women's Air and Space Museum, free museum to go to. Got some pretty neat displays on some famous female pilots, female astronauts, also some of the history of the Cleveland Air Show up there. So if you're ever up at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or visiting the ships that are up there, go into the terminal at Burke and check out the International Women's Air and Space Museum. If you go over to the right, you get some pretty neat views of the ramp up there as well at Burke. But on August 21st, 6:30 to 10 o'clock, they are having a fundraiser gala called Night at the Museum, celebrating their 50th anniversary. So spend the evening mingling with the women of air and space history with talented living historians portraying the likes of Amelia Earhart, Sally Ride, and more, listening to their stories and ask them questions you've always wanted to ask as you enjoy local wines, gourmet hors d'oeuvres, a silent auction and raffle prizes. So if you're in the area, that's August 21st at 6:30 to 10. It's a fundraiser for the museum. They have tickets on sale now at their website. Always a pretty neat event if you're up there, so go check that out. If you haven't visited the Women's Air and Space Museum, it's not a big museum. They do have some pretty cool things. Definitely worth a half hour or so of your time. They got a little gift shop up there as well. And it's a free museum, so go say hi to the ladies up there. I did a little project with them last year, which was pretty neat, just to kind of be a part of that. So good people up there. Hope you guys are able to check them out if you don't want to go to the event. At least go visit the museum. We'll see what happens to that museum long term after, you know, with whatever happens with Burke as well. But hopefully they're able to find a place here somewhere local to the area. I believe it was started by a group called the 99s. A very famous group of female pilots. So 50 years old for that museum, so go check them out. United 1084 taxiing for departure, Airbus A320 heading to Chicago. Going to catch as many of these as we can too, as they're beginning to disappear from United's fleet and replaced by newer aircraft. Behind the United, another United, flight 554 to Newark. They're sitting on the pad. Looks like they're waiting for their clearance time over to Newark. Cam Miller says the Frontier flight coming into Cleveland tonight. My friend Joey is the pilot. Well, I hope Joey has a good flight, has a smooth landing when he gets here in a little bit. Tell him we said hi. Aviation Hub says, does it smell like smoke there? It seems foggy there. And it does smell like smoke. I could feel it in my nose. I could feel it in my eyes. We had a little bit of a reprieve there for a little bit where it was still smoky, but not as bad. Definitely picked up over the last hour though. Half hour, I guess. But oh yeah, it smells like smoke. European company says here in Cleveland and live here. We'll hope you're doing well tonight. Trying my best not to sneeze. You can just feel that in your, just feel it in my eyes, feel it in my nose. Definitely will need to take a big shower tonight. Well, thank you guys all for being here tonight. Hope you're enjoying the stream, even though the weather is not being our friend tonight. If you haven't done so already, hit that like button. And if you really like the stream, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for your support. Trying to compete with the YouTube algorithm. Thank you all to everyone who has subscribed. Thank you so much for being here. 1084 heading to Chicago. They got their clearance to depart. Airbus A320 heading out. I can hear the United on the pad, but I can't see him yet. Actually, the longest I've been able to pick up an aircraft, the camera is doing a lot better job than what I am because I can't see it. But not a great day to be up here for sure. A little bit ago we were checking the weather, so I guess we'll refresh and see what aviation weather is showing now. Still showing about 1.5 miles of visibility.
Good afternoon, United 1084, flight level correction, 2,400.
And our air quality alert here, 711 on the EPA's website. So
Restricted 1414,000 left turn.
not great air quality today. But we're doing the best we can. I did 554, 737, be heading to Newark. That's probably our next departing flight. American 1679 looks like it should be pushing back soon for Charlotte. We have American Eagle 5470 heading to DCA. United Delta 1449 to Minneapolis. Delta 1350 to Atlanta. So all those aircraft we should see here at some point soon. Next inbound flight is American Eagle 3466 out of Chicago. They're about 10 minutes out. And Southwest Flight 747. Hey, United is now taxiing out. On our way to Newark. There's the 737. Following the A320, do you prefer the A320 or do you prefer the 737? Good news for us blade spotters long term, if everything goes through. Maybe not the best news for everyone else, but talk about making daylight savings time permanent, which would be good for us in the winter. We'll have a little bit longer to watch airplanes in the winter. Be good to catch those Alaska flights still with some daylight. The reason I'm bringing that up is we are now past the time, the 9 o'clock sunsets. The days are getting a little bit shorter every day. 9 o'clock sunsets. Our last 9 o'clock sunset was a couple of days ago. I'm feeling it's going to get dark a little earlier tonight, though, with all the smoke. I can actually stare at the sun. Not that you should, but I can actually pretty much stare at the sun with the smoke filter in front of it today. Very orange looking. Should never stare at the sun, but it's not immediately blinding like it normally is. Kind of spooky looking, isn't it? I think we actually are seeing a sunspot, which this is pretty incredible. I think we're actually seeing a sunspot on the upper kind of left, kind of the, we'll call it the northwest quadrant, upper left. Yeah, there might be a sunspot up there. A pretty crazy shot, look at that. All the smoke is just blocking out the sun tonight. Steven is here tonight. Also got Mark, hope you're doing well. Asking if the smoke affects the engines. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Brandon works on airplanes. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat, but he might be able to let us know. I'd be surprised if it has some impact on the engines. Not the best air quality for sure. Susie's asking, airplane spot by New York at JFK, and I did. I went to JFK last summer when Pan Am did that European flight with the 757, Iceland Air 757 and the Pan Am livery. I went out there for that last year. Would love to go back to the TWA hotel and spend a day later on this year. Don't know if it'll happen, but would love to get back out to JFK. An amazing airport to visit. See pretty much everything you can dream of out there. So love to get back out there soon. Also, what's your favorite plane to fly on or see? Ooh, my favorite to fly on, I guess, of all the ones I've flown on so far is probably, at least if I'm an airliner, is probably a 757. I've flown on the B-17 Yankee Lady when the Yankee Air Museum, Michigan Flight Museum still had that. That was amazing, and I flew on the Goodyear Blimp when I was a kid, which was also pretty amazing, but I don't know, I like the E-175 to tell you the truth, especially if you sit on the left, I think it's the left side where you have two seats. That's really nice. The A220 is nice for that as well. But I've had some good flights on the Max, has some good flights on the Neo. A lot of it really just depends on what airline and where you sit. Tina says it's like we're on a different planet. It really is. Snapping Pic says creepy weather eclipse. It is like the eclipse. We were up here for this is where I was for the eclipse a couple of years ago, and it really is like that. It's just very bizarre. Christina says that does look like a sunspot. We got an airplane taxiing out now. United or Delta Airlines Flight 1350 Airbus A320 heading to Atlanta. We're losing the sun quick, so the smoke must be getting worse. We are losing the sun. It is a reddish orange and actually getting more and more intensely red as I look. So we're definitely, I think, the smoke is picking up. This camcorder has it does have the ability to put ND filters on it, but right now it's not. It's running completely clear. So I just showed you how thick the smoke is, and we can even look at the sun. Delta 1350, a former Northwest Airlines A320 heading to Atlanta. I bet this is not a spring chicken. I was hoping it would hold short. I'm gonna see how old it is. Bear with me for 1 second. "23-year-old A320 heading to Atlanta. American taxiing behind that, flight 1267, I think it is, to Charlotte. Actually, 23. That's pretty new for a Delta A320. I think they have some that are over 30 years old. American taxiing out. I think the American Eagle is taxiing out behind. It looks like a CRJ back there. On their way to Atlanta. Meanwhile, we got an inbound flight, that American Eagle. Man, it's really got smoky. American Eagle inbound from Chicago. Good night. Run your air conditioner, and if you have an air purifier, run that too. Keep your windows closed. It's supposed to get worse throughout the evening. So as the American Eagle rolls out, American Airlines heading to Charlotte, 737. Flight 1267 to Charlotte. Sorry, flight 1679 to Charlotte. The American livery does not look good in the smoke. It just really blends in. About the same color as the smoke. Well, the smoke's a little bit more orange, but really blends in. American Eagle behind it, heading, I think, to Philadelphia. And I hear the sound of a whale in the distance. I think the Delta A220 must be starting their engines after pushing back. 1449 heading to Minneapolis. I can hear the sound of a whale in the distance, so should see the A220 here in a little bit. Yeah, we're going to lose the American here in a second. American on their way to Charlotte. Back a look at our sun. I think that is a sunset or sunspot up there. I really do. American Eagle, flight 40 or 5470 to DCA, is sitting on the pad over there. So you're looking for their clearance. The CRJ 700 will be heading out. Delta's A220 flight 1449 is taxiing out. I knew we heard the sound of a whale. A220 to Minneapolis. I see over on the pad the Beach 99 for Freight Runners Express heading to Memphis. Looks like that aircraft is live, so we may see that depart here in a few minutes. Southwest flight 747 inbound from Las Vegas, about a minute out. We also have United Airlines flight 1611 inbound from Newark. Delta Connection 5174 to LaGuardia is also live. It's a CRJ. Tell the sun is definitely setting as it moves in the screen. Very creepy tonight. Very reddish color on the sun. Steven says, is United putting a tray on the middle seat on their new aircraft? That's a good question. I haven't heard that. I'm not sure. I mean, they have the one in the seat that flips down, but for the middle seat. So I would assume so. Remember, the middle seat gets the armrest for all of you flyers. The window seat and the aisle seat, you have to share your armrest with the middle seat person. Here's Southwest. Flight 747 out of Las Vegas. That's one of the best things about COVID. Not that there were many, but when you did fly, the middle seat was blocked out. So you always had a little bit of room. That was one of the few good things about COVID. Here's the A220, flight 1449 heading to Minneapolis. Delta Airlines flight. So hear the sound of a whale here in a minute. Although I will say Delta is nowhere near as aggressive with them as JetBlue and Breeze. When I flew Breeze, it just sounded like you just heard that on over and over and over again. A220 is a nice ride, though. It really is a nice ride. I flew Breeze to Orlando earlier this year when I went down for Artemis, and it really is a nice ride. Comfortable ride. Especially again on the, I think it's the left side where you have two seats. Really nice ride to Orlando on the A220. It's big enough to give you the big airplane feel, but not so big that it just feels like you're full of a ton of people and it takes forever to get on and off. I was really impressed with that airplane. Really nice airplane. Delta on their way to Minneapolis. I wonder what the smoke is like up there, if they're dealing with the effects of the smoke or not. So we are, though. Excuse me. Pretty hard to see over there. There's an airport over there, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty hard to see. Susie says, I was in Dayton at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. Definitely recommend going if you've never been. You definitely recommend going if you've never been. Free to get in, free to park. That is at least a full day. So don't expect to go to the Air Force Museum and spend an hour or two. That is at least a full day. You could do 2 days, you could do 3 days and not see everything down there. I've been at least 100 times. Every time I go, I see something I've never seen before. Absolutely incredible museum. One of the true world-class museums down there in Dayton, right on the side of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and lots of other little things to check out as well. If you're into the Wright brothers, Carolyn Park in Dayton has the 1905 flyer, which isn't as famous as the 1903 flyer, but probably more significant. The 1905 flyer, which I think was there was a third airplane they built, but I think it actually was built with parts from the second airplane they built, because they went back in 1904 with a new airplane and it didn't fly as well as what they were hoping. And so they went back and made some changes for 1905. The 1905 flyer, the Wright 3 flyer, is the first true airplane. It could, not only was it capable of flight, but it was capable of making turns. They could fly until it ran out of gas. And so they would fly that airplane around for a half hour or more down at a place called Huffman Prairie, which is just a couple of miles from the Air Force Museum. It's right on the side of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but it's public property. It's part of the National Park Service. That's the first airport. And they did a lot of their flight testing and everything there. With their gliders, with their 1903 airplane, their 1905 airplane, and a lot of the other stuff that they would do after that. Again, free to check out right on the side of the museum, right on the side of the base down there. There's a place called Huffman Prairie. They got a Wright Brothers interactive visitor center on a hill just kind of behind it, which gets you a nice overview of the base if you want to look at the base. Or there's a really cool little museum, really cool gift shop. Just has stuff with about the Wright Brothers up there, and I think Paul Lawrence Dunbar as well, who was born in Dayton. When I was there, they had a movie they played on the Wright Brothers. They have one of the very few surviving Wright Brothers bicycles there. So go check that out. But go to Carolyn Park as well. Go see the 1905 flyer. Neat museum / park. They got a lot of really cool things up there for all the stuff that's going on in Dayton. Dayton is definitely a center of industry in our country, at least, throughout the 1900s. So go check those stuff out. And we've got a lot of other Wright Brothers sites up there. Hawthorne Hill, their house. There's a replica of the Wright Cycle shop. Does anyone know where the actual Wright Cycle shop is? It's not in Dayton anymore. If anyone knows where it's at, let me know down below. I'll unveil the answer here in a minute. I know where it's at, but do you know where the original Wright Cycle shop is? It is no longer in Dayton. But lots of history down there on the Wright Brothers in Dayton. So check out all of that, and then make the hour-and-a-half trip or so north. Go to Wapakoneta and check out the Neil Armstrong Museum as well. Pretty cool interactive museum up there, especially for kids, on Neil Armstrong and spaceflight, Apollo 11, of course, Gemini. Lots of cool stuff out there, so go check that out. But definitely, if you haven't made the pilgrimage to Dayton, go to the Air Force Museum. Go to the Champaign Aviation Museum as well in Urbana. It's about a half-hour drive from Dayton. They are restoring a B-17 really from scratch. They had some parts left over from a wrecked airplane from the 40s. And they have made incredible progress on that. So go check that out. If you're in the area, you can volunteer as well if you want to help them restore that airplane. They got a few other airplanes as well. They got a B-25 and a few other airplanes down there that are actually airworthy, that do fly. But a ton of aviation history down there in Dayton. The Waco, I think, or Waco, however you want to say it, museum is down there. So yeah, go to Dayton, check out the Air Force Museum, and check out some of the other sites. Huffman Prairie, by the way, depending on which runway they're using, a pretty good spot to do some plane spotting at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base if you're down there. Maybe you'll get lucky and catch the E-4 Night Watch, the Doomsday airplane. It's in and out of there quite a bit. They sent some other stuff down there as well. Wright-Patterson was one of the first places they sent the new Bridge Air Force One. It was down there for a little bit a couple of weeks ago. And then over at Dayton International at Sierra Nevada, that's where they're restoring, or they're building those former Korean 747-8s into the new generation E4s. And so you'll see those, sometimes you'll see one sitting outside. Quite often you'll actually see them fly. Lots of stuff to see down there in Dayton. All 073, are you on IX Center Road? Yep, I'm on the side of Aerospace. There's a little park over here. Tino says, I need to go to the Air Force Museum. I haven't been since I was a kid. It's pretty cool to have such a short road trip away. Yeah, and it's growing so much even from when I was a kid. So definitely worth the trip. You don't have to go onto the annex anymore to see the presidential stuff. It's in the 4th hangar, so all of it's together. So much stuff you can see down there. Of course, the Memphis Belle is the main highlight for me, but you got a number of the former Air Force One airplanes. You can actually walk through them, which is pretty cool. The Valkyrie is down there, which is an incredible aircraft. XB-70's down there. So much to see down there at the Air Force Museum. 2 Delta Connection CRJs, flight 5174 taxiing out. 5174 to LaGuardia, 4957 to Detroit. The second CRJ is the last CRJ ever built. So not this one, the one behind it is the last CRJ ever built. Front one heading to LaGuardia, the back one heading to Detroit. The sun has basically disappeared behind the smoke now. I didn't bring my other camera tonight. That would be a really cool shot of the sun with the smoke. You can actually see the smoke bands through it. Really, if you're near me, really cool shot of the sun right now. You can see the smoke bands are actually obscuring it. It has really, over the last 15-20 minutes, has really picked up. There's the last CRJ taxiing into view. It's a bit of historic aircraft for us tonight. So as the LaGuardia flight heads out, the other Delta Connection CRJ, the one is heading to Detroit, the last one ever built. Heading up to DTW, November 303, Papa, Quebec. Sun is basically gone. If we could try to grab a shot of it here really quick, we will do our best. The sun has basically disappeared behind the smoke. .737 taxiing for Delta flight. I think it's 880 back to Atlanta. The good news is, as the smoke has picked up, I haven't noticed the bugs as much as what we had earlier, so smoke must be scaring away the mosquitoes and flies and stuff like that. They don't seem like they're having a gourmet lunch on my legs as much anymore. So I guess we'll take that. As Delta Connection heads out, we'll go ahead and get the sun back into the view for you. You can barely see it now. So there's what's left of the sun. The smoke has really increased, especially off to the west. It has basically obscured itself behind the smoke now. That sun should be very bright. We should not even be able to look at it right now. And then you tell you can not see it through the smoke, or barely see it through the smoke. Delta 2545, 737-900 lining up for Atlanta, followed by Freight Runners Express 986, a beach heading to Memphis. Southwest 1163 also taxiing out for Chicago Midway, and Piedmont 5862 heading to Philadelphia. ERJ 145, all those aircraft are taxiing out. So we'll follow them, probably stay live till 8:30, and then after that we'll head home, get some dinner, go see the little guy for a little bit. Haven't seen him much the last couple of days with work and doing some plane spotting. So go home and see him and get some dinner, get ready to work again tomorrow. We may live stream again tomorrow night. We'll see how the weather looks, how much smoke we get, what's actually coming in. And then the plan is to go to Thunder over Michigan as long as the weather clears up either on Saturday or Sunday. It's got the big World Cup final on Sunday between Argentina and Spain. We'll have to check that out. The sun is gone. Completely obscured in the smoke. Just see a hint of it up there. Lenses, if you have binoculars, take a look at the sun. You can see some sunspots. Yeah, I think we got one on the stream there a few minutes ago when the sun was still out. Susie did get to see a Doomsday plane land there once for perfect photos of it. I've seen one land there at the museum when I didn't have my camera one time. And ever since then, I've been down there many times hoping to see it and haven't got lucky enough to see it again. It came in, I got it refueling over my house last year, so that was kind of cool, but I'm jealous you got to see the Doomsday plane land there. Been trying to catch that thing for years. The oldest 747 still flying, 747-200s. I think they're the oldest one still flying. There might be a 100 still flying now, come to think of it, but really cool airplanes, the Doomsday E4s. Wright-Pat is one of the bases for them, so they go to Offutt, Wright-Patterson, and Andrews Air Force Base. So hopefully someday. One came in on Saturday when I was at the air show. I was really hoping they would have had to come and do a flyby, but no dice. Freight Runners Express is heading to Memphis. Southwest holding short. Should be on their way to O'Hare, or on their way to Midway, I apologize, on their way to Midway. We do have an inbound flight, United Express 3488 out of Washington Dulles is about 2 minutes out. I don't even know if we're really even going to be able to see it. Southwest is flight 1163 to Midway, followed by Piedmont Airlines 5862 heading to Philly. And the smoke has really picked up now. The sun is gone. Actually getting kind of dark up here. We're not quite to sunset yet either, so. Look it up, I can just see where the sky is kind of orange above me. It's a creepy thing to look at. Fareed says, hello friends, what an interesting day this is. And Tino brings up a good point, the only existing XB-70. It's on display at the Air Force Museum. You can go visit the second one. If you're brave and want to go do some exploring in California, you can go see the crash site of Air Vehicle 2. A lot of people go out there to check out those crash sites for Air Vehicle 2, as well as the F-104 that collided with it. They were doing a photo shoot for General Electric and made the engines. And an F-104 piloted by Joe Walker, very experienced pilot. I believe it got sucked into the wake vortexes of the XB-70 and collided with it. He was killed, and the co-pilot Carl Cross on the XB-70 was killed. The pilot Al White got out, but was very seriously injured in that. And a surviving one, the first one built, Air Vehicle 1, is on display in Dayton. An absolutely incredible aircraft, a beautiful aircraft. You know, really one of the first attempts to replace the B-52. It was a heavy bomber that could fly 3 times the speed of sound, nearly the same speed as the SR-71, and do it with the bomb load of a B-52. Just an incredible airplane. Ultimately, the Air Force went with ICBMs and kept the B-52s, but still an incredible airplane to go see. A lot of the XB-70 can still be seen today in the B-1. There's North American Aviation. I forget if they were bought by Rockwell or if they became Rockwell, but they were behind that. And a lot of the XB-70 is still in the B-1, especially the B-1A, which was another canceled bomber project. Actually could fly faster than the B-1Bs that are in service. But a lot of the XB-70 went into that design. Incredible airplane. One of my personal favorite airplanes. I know a lot of people love the Valkyrie. American Eagle heading to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Piedmont Airlines operated ERJ-145. And looking off to our west, not much to look at now. Susie's asking, do you have a least favorite plane to fly on? Probably the 737. If you sit, you know, in like first class is nice, but a little above my pay grade. But like a premium economy is not as bad, but 737 is probably my least favorite airplane to fly on. Still a great, one of my favorite airplanes to spot though. I enjoy seeing the 737. Surfer Bree 5346 says it's super smoky. Indeed. Tino says, good point. Even the bees seem pretty bothered. I know my dogs were. I said that, and a brave mosquito has found my leg. But yeah, definitely nowhere near as many insects, nowhere near as many birds flying around tonight either. With the smoke. Prime Flight fuel truck probably heading over to UPS to get the UPS aircraft ready to go tonight for the departure here in about an hour or so. Juan says, didn't you say an hour early? It's about to be 2. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It wasn't too bad for a while, and I wanted to catch some stuff, but it's definitely picked up here over the last half hour, 45 minutes. Juan said, I'm getting a new camera and driving to the Milwaukee Air Show. Well, I hope we have a good time up there. They always seem to overpromise some of the military stuff, but I hope we get to see some of the bombers and whatnot that's supposed to be up there. I hope you have a good time in Milwaukee. Really cool city, by the way. Tina says, unusually early sunset tonight. Yeah, the sun should be about right in the middle of the screen. And absolutely impossible to see. Don't blame the Air Force ICBMs are cheaper, make more sense logistically. And of course, you know, speed and altitude only goes so far. If you look at something like the B2 doesn't fly anywhere near as fast or as high as the Valkyrie. But it carries more weapons, and you can't see it coming. Steve is asking, have you been to the Boeing factory? I have not. I need to make the trip out there. I wanted to go for the Aero Expo show this year. Just wasn't in the budget, but would love to make the trip out there someday. Susie says, hope you have a good rest of your day. I'm going to head out. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your comments tonight. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Air Canada Jazz is taxiing out. So we'll go ahead and pick that aircraft up.
736 will probably need
Flight.
about a minute for the captain.
Flight 736 heading to Toronto.
736, Cleveland Tower, weather 15 in a minute.
That is an otherworldly shot. Look at that.
3600, that's ready for 4163.
The smoke actually is even starting to obscure the visibility of the airplanes that's only 700 feet or so away from me. Behind Air Canada Jazz, we have SkyWest Flight 3559 heading to Detroit, another CRJ. And I actually was wrong earlier. That is the last CRJ ever built, according to Jet Tip. November 840 Sierra Kilo. So the last ever CRJ is taxiing behind this E-175. So it wasn't the one I said earlier. It's this one that's taxiing out. Both are going to Detroit. And I think that'll be the last airplane of the evening for us. So we'll get these two regional jets. And after that, we'll head on out for the evening. Danielle is here. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. We are live from very smoky, very hazy Cleveland Hopkins International Airport up here in Cleveland, Ohio, dealing with the effects of the wildfire smoke from Canada. That's starting to burn my eyes now. We should be in bright, brilliant sunset, golden hour plate spotting right now. Right now, you can't even see the sun, and I don't even know where the sun would be. It should be off to my left, completely obscured with clouds. There isn't even a hint of light over there now. As the smoke moves across the lakeshore. Supposed to get worse this evening, so if you're in the area, any of the areas that's dealing with the smoke, make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves tonight. Supposed to be worse tonight, and I think maybe even worse tomorrow. So the last ever CRJ, the Delta Connection flight heading to Detroit. They're going to go ahead of Air Canada Jazz. November 840 Sierra Kilo for SkyWest. The last CRJ ever built. They're on ahead of Air Canada Jazz heading to Detroit.
736 is waiting for special.
They should be making the big U-turn here on the runway and heading out. Air quality, our visibility now has to be a mile or less. I think it peaked at 1.75 miles earlier. And definitely harder to see down the runway, across the field. And again, we've lost the sun. Rough night for the autofocus on the camera. Everything is like a white, gray. We don't even have the orange haze that we had earlier just because the sun is completely blocked out by the smoke. We should be in golden hour spotting right now. It's pretty crazy how thick that smoke is. So again, thinking of all the first responders, all the firefighters trying to deal with these wildfires in Canada. I think there's some in the western US as well, but hoping they stay safe and they're able to get these fires put out as soon as possible, save as many lives as they possibly can, save as much property as they can. Really need some rain. It's been hot the last couple of weeks. Really need to get some rain to get these fires put out. Jazz 736 on their way to Toronto. Last airplane of the night. Our sun should be over there right now, and again, not much to see. Thank you guys all so much for being here. Hit that like button down below if you haven't hit it already. Looks like we're at 89 likes, so love to see everyone hit that like button, get us over 100 again tonight. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Got lots of stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. Hoping to get the Thunder over Michigan this weekend. We'll see what the weather does. We got props and pistons at Akron Fulton Airport in a couple of weeks. Got some other fly-ins as well. There's one in Mansfield on the 1st. There's one down in Marysville this weekend if you're in that area. There's also the commemorative Air Force bombers are up in Toledo this weekend. So if you're up there, go check those out. The B-17, B-25, B-29 are all up there giving rides. So go check them out. Of course, here in just over a month, we got the Cleveland National Air Show Labor Day weekend here in town. So looking forward to bringing that to you. Probably we'll do some live streaming for that as well. So hoping to bring some of that to you. Got lots of other stuff to post. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much for your support. Really, really does mean a lot. Air quality right now is pretty rough. Dropped to 604, so a little better than what it was earlier, but I don't believe that number. I feel like it's gotten worse. The visibility has definitely gotten worse. Visibility right now, 1.25 miles according to the National Weather Service at 7:51, so probably even worse than that now. Going back and trying to catch up to the some of the comments for you. Richard says, hello group, Cleveland looks rough. Been out in the stuff here on the East Coast all day and all night. My eyes are toast. We'll hope you're able to get inside and rest your eyes a little bit from this smoke. Definitely not a good night to be outside. Hopkins says, have a good one. The smoke is killing me. I hope it clears up. Danielle's up in Smokey, Chicago. We'll hope you're doing well up there in Chicago, one of my favorite cities. I always enjoy my time up in Chicago. I definitely enjoy my time at O'Hare. Need to get back up there soon. Steven says, Michigan is terrible with the smoke. I hear it's even worse up there. So stay safe, stay inside as much as you can. Off to one of my favorite airports, DTW. Steven says, nice to see someone doing some plane spotting in Cleveland. Yeah, I've been doing it now. Started in COVID because I was a band director and I lost my job. So it was a nice way to get out of the house. Then I was working remote, so it kind of worked out pretty well. Love doing it in my spare time. Getting out of the house for a little bit, coming up here. I wanted to come up here tonight with the smoke just because it's such a crazy experience. Tino says it's like getting smoke from a campfire in your face, but you can walk away at least. This is constant. Yeah, this is pretty rough. Definitely thinking about all those dealing with the fires. 2,000 fires, 41 million acres burned in Canada. That's awful. Steve was asking, do you only plane spot at Cleveland or do you go to different locations? I go to different locations a lot. This is my primary airport. I live about a half hour from here, but I go to lots of airports. The local airports I'm always at, whether it's Akron, Canton, or Burke. I'm down in Columbus quite a bit, although it's been a little bit since I've been down in Columbus. But I go down to Columbus a few times a year, whether it's CMH or Rickenbacker. Go to Detroit a couple of times a year. It's been a little bit since I've been to Chicago, so I need to make the trip out there. But try to travel as much as I can. Been to Cincinnati a few times, been to Louisville a few times, been to JFK, been to Washington Dulles several times, been to Houston, been to DFW, been to Minneapolis, been to Orlando, been to Fort Lauderdale. Definitely got around as much as I can. If I get a little bit of extra budget, which is rare nowadays with a kid, but if I can get around and go try to catch something, I try to catch it. So I spot quite a bit. I go to as many places as I can, but this is definitely what I consider my home airport. Hey, we hit 100 likes. Thank you so much. Tina says, thanks for the stream and dealing with that smoke, but you got some crazy shots. Well, thank you so much for being here. Richard is a 25-year volunteer at the Cleveland National Air Show. It's in my blood. Well, thank you for all of your volunteer work at the show. Maybe I'll meet you here in a few weeks. Been going to that ever since I was a little kid, hoping for good things for the air show long term. Steven says, just joined. My brother has been sending me pictures from Michigan. I live in Florida. Yeah, I hear it's really bad up there. Hopefully this gets out of here soon and they're gonna get these fires put out. Enjoy Florida though. Love heading down there. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thank you guys all so much for your support. It really does mean a lot. We're gonna head home, get some dinner, get the little guy to bed, get myself ready for bed for work tomorrow. Tomorrow night we may do another live stream tomorrow night. Just depends what the weather does. Also depends on what's coming in. And then maybe we'll do another one this weekend if I don't end up going to the show. But lots of things going on over the next few weeks. I hope to see you guys at some of those. Follow me on Instagram at Nick Flies Media. If I find out anything's coming in, like the Dubai Airwing 747 we had last week, then I'll post it on there for you to let you guys know if you're able to make it up here to check it out. I got some pictures and video and all kinds of stuff on there as well. But thank you so much for all of your support. It really does mean a lot. Hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, stay out of the smoke, avoid the diarrhea parasite. But hope you guys all stay healthy, stay cool, stay safe. We'll catch you next time from Cleveland Hopkins International.